You've probably had those thoughts of, or say thoughts like, I want to have, I wish I had that guy's car. I wish my body looked like that guy's body because I'll trade off all the time. I wish I had that amount of money like that guy has. I wish I lived in that apartment. I wish I lived in that house. I wish I had, I don't know, like this kind of phone. Like basically just wishing you had something that somebody else had. That's envy, bro. And that's honestly, that shit will kill you mentally. Because at the end of the day, when you keep having these thoughts, you're just out of your present moment. And that will just take away your happiness time over time over time over time. Because when you wish you had when you wish that you had something that someone else has, something that you don't have in your own life, it just ruins you mentally because in your mind you're just telling yourself you're inferior. And especially when you have these thoughts often, you can literally have these thoughts like every time you see something nice and you're like, oh, I wish I had that. You're basically telling the universe and connecting your body to saying that you're just inferior. And also, if you actually wish you had that thing, saying that you wish you had someone else's body or some shit, weirdly, it means that you actually won't end up having that body in the future. Because when you're not present and not grateful for what you have in that moment, basically you're just saying to yourself, I'm never gonna get that, right? So when you just keep thinking, you just keep thinking, oh, I want these things, I want that. You should just stop that and just stop being grateful for what you have in that moment. Because at the end of the day, if you actually achieve all those things you wish you had, you're not gonna be as happy as you think because you're just gonna want something else. So it's like our insecurities are infinite, you know. Someone like even the most successful people, they have insecurities, bro. But it's like how you deal with those things, right? So the more you be envious of what people have, the more your insecurities just expand. Even though they're pretty much infinite, you just expand your insecurities for no reason. So just being envious for, like, let me give you an example. So when I was in high school, or pretty much my growing up, going to school and shit, I was never a wealthy kid, right? Like, bro, I'm so thankful. Like, my parents sent me to the best schools and all that, and I got a really good education. But the other students that I learned with, man, like their lifestyle, dude, I envied it so much. Like, I wish that I lived in that life. I wish that I had what they had. I wish that they were picking me up in the cars that they had. And honestly, bro, that's fucking depressing, bro. Like, so imagine the amount of sacrifices your parents are making, and all you can think about is, their car is not nice enough. Fucking ant, bro. Yeah, imagine that shit, bro. That's just terrible, man. Should always be. That's when I learned to start being grateful for every little thing that you have, because in your life you are sent down on this earth to live your life, right? Your life is not going to be the same as everyone else's. Some people start off life at a higher point, and some people start at a lower point. I started at a much lower point. I've always been the underdog in like most of my life stories, right? I was never the popular kid in school. Even if I played like on the best basketball team in high school or some shit, bro, like I was never like the main player, you know. I wasn't the star player or some shit. So like I've always just been under the radar in most of my life. So, but honestly, the one mindset that I just need to instill in your brain is to just be grateful. Even the small things that you have, man. The disadvantages that you have, like, bro, the amount of money you have, where you live, your assets. Think about how you can be grateful for those things. Even though they're not as nice as everyone else's, just think about how is this actually going to help me? Because if I started at a lower point than this guy, that means I have more motivation to actually overtake him. Because if you didn't have the nice things at the start, obviously you want to work hard and achieve those things, right? Obviously you're gonna have more motivation than the guy that already has those things at the top. You're gonna have more motivation to actually end up overtaking him and have even more stuff. So basically we got envy all wrong. Like envy, you can't really stop it completely, but I think it depends on how you use it overall. So when you're envious of something, you should mold it into a different mindset of gratitude, basically. So turn that envy into gratitude and be grateful for why you're feeling that way, and think about how you can be grateful for that feeling and how it can motivate you to become better, basically. So you shouldn't let it play out in your mind and use it as a negative thought, because when you think about it as a negative thought, that's when it starts to ruin you. It starts to play on your mind in a negative way. So if you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, I just learned to be grateful about the small things I have. Just stop being envious of what other people have, because that person's, you've been dealt with different cards. So when you're sent down on this earth, everyone has different cards to deal with, right? It's just like a card game. Like you get random cards and you look at your cards and you're just like, oh, if they're good cards, yeah, if they're good cards, then good. But sometimes you have bad cards, so you're just like, okay, these are not the best cards, but how am I going to utilize them to actually win this game? So in the game of life, we were born with specific cards, and it's our job to just use those cards to make them into the best life we can actually construct. So use those cards you've been dealt with to actually use the cards you've been dealt with to construct the best life possible. Because some people that you play cards with, right, even some people that have the best cards don't end up winning the game. So it's those cards that you've been dealt with, you should learn to use, learn about them as deeply as possible, be grateful for them, and use them to actually construct the life that you actually want. And that's what I'm currently doing right now. I stop being envious. Even if I'm at a disadvantage from other people, I'm grateful for the cards that I've been dealt with, and I'm gonna use this to the best of my ability. Because, bro, at the end of the day, if you just keep being envious of what people have, bro, that shit will just fucking drain you, bro. That shit just drains your soul. Because I've always been a person that, like I said, I've never been a wealthy guy. Like, my parents never showered me with love, but provided, like, I'm so grateful for what they have provided and the opportunities that they gave me. But, bro, for the things that you want personally, you can work towards achieving those things, but if your mindset is, I will be happy when I do X, I'll be happy when I achieve what that guy has, that's wrong, bro. Because once you achieve it, you're just gonna want something more. So at the end of the day, just use envy as a motive to get what you want, but at the end of the day, your goal is to fulfill like your main purpose, right? So it's fulfill like those things. That's pretty much all I have to say to you, man. But just change your mindset, train your mind, stop thinking negatively, and keep working on yourself.